It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Man, it is great to be with you again, everybody. The NBA season has now hit full stride. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith on 2K Sports. Tonight, we'll be watching the Minnesota Timberwolves playing against the Sacramento Kings. Well, for Sacramento, this game will be a big challenge. Facing one of the top teams in the league, they'll need to be at their best to win it. Andrew Wiggins making strides in his game last season, scoring from all over the floor now, and more importantly, scoring with efficiency. What was the change you saw, Shaq, in his approach?
Well, I like this kid. He's, Ernie, really a quiet assassin. The three-point shot was clicking for him. Much more space to operate with an outside game. This kid can do it all. Oh, Canada, you better stand on guard for he.
Oh, I like that.
How come nobody's ever described as a noisy assassin?
Good point, Ernie.
Anyway, back to Andrew Wiggins.
Well, does a good job of drawing fouls as well, getting to the free throw line.
You know what?
Quietly gets to the free throw line.
You know what we also did?
What's
Anytime
that?
you get the guy to start the music early, you know you've done your job.
There it is.
Let's send it to Kevin Harlan.
It's an all-Western Conference matchup, and today's game is the Kings coming to town for this one. With Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. And we have a surprise guest, folks. Here he is, the four-time All-NBA First-Teamer, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, an NBA champion, which is probably most happy about, most proud of, Kevin Garnett. Thanks so much for joining us for the game.
Man, thank you for having me, man. Shout out to 2K. You know what it is, 2K? Right. OBF all day, you know? Yeah.
Now, you can't play 2K while we're doing 2K.
No, we can't. We can't play it right now, but I'm waiting. Shout to Shaq on this cover. Shout to my dog, Shaq. That's dope. That's what's up. Gas Shaq is on there. Right. Love that. That's what's up. Diesel deserves it, man. That's what's up.
The Timberwolves again playing host, continuing their homestand in this one. And, of course, Shabazz Muhammad. With him gone, we'll see how they get along.
Yeah, no question that it's a risky deal to make because it's the kind of move that can turn a team's fan base against the front office. But trading one of the most popular players on the team is always risky no matter what you get in return.
And with pregame routines coming to an end, we're just about ready for our tip-off. First, though, let's get a report from the sideline and say hello to David Aldridge.
Well, guys, Sacramento Kings coach Dave Joerger started out coaching in the minor leagues. And every year he'd attend NBA training camps, but especially ones with teams that had big roster turnover. He said a coach who's had his team together calls out a drill, and everybody does it. But to watch those guys teach and put it all together, that was where you really learn. Kevin?
Thanks, David, and it's clear that Coach Joerger is a details guy, an impressive young coach. Hey, Kevin, when you play with Andrew Wiggins, you saw firsthand just how explosive he can be. What impresses you most about where he is right now and where he could go?
Man, Andrew's potential is through the roof. I've told him this countless times that when he wants to, he can. There's nothing that he can't do. It's just about his consistency and how he sees that, man. I told him, man, the world is his. I've yet to see a player in our league that has the athletic ability that he has, mixed with the IQ and being able to be players on both sides of the ball if he wants to. This kid is super long. He's fast. He's deceptionally fast. Like, I don't think people know how fast he really is. Great shooter, has a great IQ, not a good IQ, a great IQ. I told him, man, I would like to see him with a little more oomph in his step. But if you know Drew, he's laid back. He's super cool. He's smooth with it, and his game reminds you of Steve Smith. And when Smitty used to, rock people to sleep, he has a very good patience to his game.
Let's take a look at our starters for Sacramento. Labissiere and Cauley Steiner, the bigs. Fox is out there with Hield, and it's Jackson in at the small forward position. Now here's Butler following the missed shot by De'Aaron Fox. And Kevin, do you think you gravitate towards those young players because you were in their shoes at one time as a very, very young player in this league?
A little bit, but more importantly, I see it. I see it in him. I see that if he pushed through a little bit, and
you know it, you spot it.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you know what you see in young talent, you see it when it's there. When it's right in your face, like, holy, here, go get a rebound, put it back, dunk the ball, steal it, dunk it, come back down, and then be like, huh. You know, I often wonder how much Drew is actually stimulated. You know, he gets bored very easily, but when he turns it on, he is one of the best and is going to be one of the best in our league to come.
And here is Hield following the three-pointer by Andrew Wiggins. Clock is at 3, pulls it up, and he overshot that one, missing.
And he rushed that one, no doubt about it. The D. Allen's position, you could see the frustration on his face.
Towns, the screen. Teague, the pass to Towns. Wiggins outside. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. And KG, you're retired from the game now, and you're stepping into the broadcast business a little bit now, aren't you?
Man,
yeah,
you see me?
How do you like it?
You know what? Area 21 is something that is authentic. It's me. I'm having a great time watching the games. It's really cool being a fan now. I can root for people I want to root for. I don't have to worry about preparing and who I'm going to guard, and I'm getting the tea. So, you know what? It's a great time. It's work. You know, it's not just you go on there and you have a bunch of fun. You know, we actually get some things done, and but we have a great time, man.
You're a natural.
Hey, Kev, listen, watching you, being around you, you know, man, the great, rest in peace to Craig, you know, Ernie, Charles, all these great influences, man, has definitely helped, not just me, but our younger generations of broadcasters, man. It's totally, I didn't see this being my lane, but I'm having fun with it.
Doing a great job. That one falls, so he hits both of them. And Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at that time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. Nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lue, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who had been through the trade process and talking to me, getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, you know, it was about what was best for me and my family.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. And Fox gets it to go.
And the experience that Fox is garnering, this is a guy who is used to having hands in his face, but it doesn't seem to affect him in the slightest.
Now here's Teague. 17 points for him last game against Philadelphia. And Gibson kicks to Teague. Towns at the elbow. Puts it up from 17. It's rebounded by Labissiere. And Kev, you had a voice in where you'd go from Minnesota. How did all that play out?
I sat with my wife, and we all kind of went through it and thought Boston was the best situation Paul and I had. Great bones and great history that I don't think the world really knew. We have been knowing each other since 14, 15. I played with each other younger, and I had a chance to play with Cole, but that really didn't go through. A lot of people don't know I had a chance to play with Steve Nash also, but I wanted to play with Stoudemire, and that wasn't the case. So I decided to go to Boston. Ray and I knew each other from South Carolina. And then, you know, the Rondo piece was a huge piece for me. You know, I had followed the youngster in his first year and just watched his growth a little bit, even though I was in the Western Conference. And then when I got to Boston, I knew they had good pieces like Kendrick Perkins and Tony Allen. I wasn't aware of the big baby piece yet. And then I wasn't sure on the Posey part. And then all of a sudden it started to come together, Eddie House. And then all of this. And
great names.
I mean,
great names.
Just all alphas. All guys able to stand up and speak for themselves and be articulate, and, you know, all different facets, and, you know, very similar facets of who we are personality-wise. And a lot of people just don't know that team there, I don't think another coach could have coached that team other than Doc Rivers.
Kevin, you were always known as wanting to play and always wanting to practice. You were a gym rat. What did you do when a coach would ask you maybe to take a breather? Let's sit out this game. Let's rest up. Would you welcome that? Would you just say, I'll let you know when I can't go? How would you handle that situation?
You know what? I've always asked the coach to respect the way I get ready for games. I've always asked him to respect the way I approach the game. I've always asked the coach to respect me and my expertise of knowing my body. I'm very, very vocal. Listen, if one person needs rest, and it's me, I know how to raise my hand. I know how to say I need some rest. But, you know, I'm a person who likes to push through a lot of things. I'm a person who understands rest, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I'm a person who understands that practice makes perfect. And if I can work on something for as long as I can to make something better, because I know at the end when I need it, especially when I used to call it dial up. When I call, I need the answer.
Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Timmy, man. Timmy's very crafty, man. Our battles used to be just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Elijah Malone. You know, the time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well, was very long, had a lot of counters, very strong, and had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, Timmy's one of the best, man. It's not by coincidence. He's one of the ones.
Kevin, when you played, we all know how intense you were, how much you cared. That, to me, was the thing that you cared so much about the product, about your team, about the game. But some people have said that maybe there was a streak of you that was mean is maybe not the right word, but you were overly aggressive. But I don't know how you could have played any differently than that.
I call it dialed in.
What?
You know, I like to think that if you're trying to accomplish something, then, you know, I only know one way to accomplish something. You go at it with everything you have.
Yes.
You go to dominate it and take it over. You don't go at something lightly.
Can't walk through the park with this game,
not at all. Not at all. And this game is full of talented elites. Night in, night out, you're playing someone that can typically go for 50 easy.
So true. Now here's Jackson. Jimmy Butler unable to get his last shot to go. This year kicks to Jackson. Back to Labissiere. The pass to Hield. The offensive rebound. A putback. Timberwolves leading by 3. Passes it to Wiggins. Back to Butler. Fires from deep. Butler can't get that one to fall. Look at the last game for Sacramento. It was a win against Phoenix.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, I thought the opponent's defense just never showed up.
But I like that they attacked those weaknesses. They made them pay for a lackluster effort.
Now, here's Fox. Really played well against Phoenix in his last outing. Here's Jackson. The rebound by Gibson. The Timberwolves have gone 6 of 12 from the field here in the first quarter. Kevin, when you entered the draft, no player had made the jump from high school to the NBA in 20 years. And what were your emotions when your name was called number 5 overall?
Oh, man, I remember that. It was
17 years old.
17, just turning 18 at the time. I was in like a whirlwind, to be honest. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of stuff that goes up into the draft. You know, things that I wasn't aware of. You're training twice a day. You know, you're trying to get ready for the combine. You're trying to get ready for pre-draft. You got to do workouts. This is all new to me. On top of still going to high school, trying to, you know, graduate and stuff. So I figured it out. I hustled and I bustled and I juggled a bunch of different things. But once your name is called, it's almost like the culmination. It all comes together. It's a special moment for just you and your family and your loved ones and ones around you. And when my name was called, it felt like the world had stopped and everything was going very slow.
Yeah, you know, some of it's shot selection, some just bad luck, and they just can't get anything going.
Well, this is the dilemma as a coach. You wonder, do I need to call a timeout here? Do I need to settle these guys down? Should I let them play through it?
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. Here's Temple. 8 points his last outing. Pass to Koufis. He kicks it to Carter. To stop the drought. No good. Shot missing. So Minnesota will take it the other way. They're coming off that win against Philadelphia.
And once they established that flow offensively, really never got any resistance from the D.
And I feel like the defense was one step behind all night. I mean, they never made the adjustments to string together a few stops.
Outside, Jones. Pass to Bielitsa. There's Crawford with the three. It's Jones on the wing. It's Bielitsa. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot two. And Kevin, you played for some great coaches, but is there any coach you would have been interested to work with that just didn't get a chance to? Say, you know, Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson.
You know, those are great coaches. I've had very, very little time with those guys.
Maybe in all-star games and things like that.
I have. But, you know, when you do all-star games, you let yourself go. You know, you open up yourself to try to, you know, be there and be present with the guys. Yes. Open up, you know, hey, what's up? What's been up with you? How's the year for y'all? Y'all playing well. We're going to beat y'all when we see y'all, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you're very cordial. And, you know, you're not talking too much about X's and O's. But you do share perspectives. You do share, you know, philosophies. Pop is a great mind. I had a chance to sit with him a couple times. Phil's a great mind. Phil is super deep and loves the philosophy of. I haven't had a lot of time with those guys. Doc Rivers, you know, shout to Doc. And, you know, I know he doesn't get a lot for his philosophies, but he's very enriched with philosophies and styles and bringing teams together and trying to make sure that guys stay connected, stimulated. He would always tell us to never get bored with the process.
Wow, that's so intriguing. Interesting to hear. Randolph. It's hauled in by Jamal Crawford. Minnesota leading by 3. On the wing, Jones. With the floater. Here's Patton. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, Patton's got his first bucket of the night. They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
And Kevin, you've recently gotten a chance to do more TV. Your show Area 21 has been tremendous, and the critics love it. Talk about this chapter of your career.
Well, you know, it was something that I wasn't planning on, but, you know, Turner brought me a great concept, and it fit the mold of what any man cave is, and that's really what it is. But the fact that we can go in, watch the games on multiple channels, see multiple games, articulate it, you know, give it from a perspective of a player coming fresh out of this generation of players, giving understanding to this generation of players is very important, because these players now are very different. Teaching these young players, still being mentors of these players, very important, and still loving this game. It's still a beautiful game. Man, the game is growing. I'm watching these kids do all types of different stuff, man. The creativity in our game now is so heightened. So, yeah, I'm having a bunch of fun, which is one thing I never forgot. The piece of advice you've always told me, man. So you continue to enjoy what you do, and it'll show. And I'm hoping that I'm making you proud of that, Kay. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, man.
You're an incredible ambassador to all of those things. The game, the fun of life. Right. You capture a lot of the fun of life.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm enjoying it. So, you know, hopefully it shows.
Kevin, we see some coaches get extremely emotional on the sideline. Others take a more even-keeled approach, more calm on the sideline. Which coaching style would you prefer to play for when you were in your prime? Did you want a coach who was animated, or did you want a coach that was just kind of settled on the sideline?
You know what? I like the coach that was settled on the sideline. You know, I like to think that great coaches are going to be able to coach you in practice, and then during the games, you know, it's about the product and what you put out on the floor.
Yes.
You know, coaches that have understanding, coaches that have vision, coaches that understand the game, understand that it's a game of runs, know that it's a game of momentum, and have plays for those momentums and those times. Or coaches that I've always gravitated to and understood that they...
Like Doc was kind of in between, wasn't he? A little bit of emotion, but he could also have a calm demeanor on that side.
Doc was on fire, I'm sorry. There was nothing calming about Doc. I'm trying
to cover Doc's back here.
No, shout to Doc. Doc will rip your head off if you wasn't supposed to. But you know what? You need to play with that edge. You needed to know that if you wasn't in your spot, 1 through 15, you understood that you were supposed to be there. And it's good to play with that. I think that you don't want to be out there playing like, this is no big deal. Every play is a big deal. And no play, absolutely. And you know what? That severity, and you play with that importance, and, knowing that you're playing for the next guy. So, that's important.
And people may not know, KG, that you're not just a broadcaster for 2K, but you're a member of the 2K community.
Have you been keeping up with the community, man?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Man, listen, shout out to all the 2K players out there. I'm Jizzle Lord. Y'all know what it is. I'm Jizzle Lord 5. Shout out to my OBF team. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Dex. Shout out to Bug. Shout out to everybody out there playing. Right. We definitely.
Wow.
It's all good. I'm OBF. I'm about the team. I'm gang. You know what it is. Jizzle Lord. Y'all holler at me. Y'all know what it is, 2K. Right.
With this break, we have a chance to break down with the assistant coming from tonight between the front and back court for the Timberwolves.
And their guards have been the ones to really set the tone here tonight with their ability to create shots. You talk about the big fellas. They love to play with guards who try to keep them involved offensively.
First free throw is good. And he makes both free throws. 1:06 left to play in the first. Temple dishes to Kufis. There's a good screen. Feeds it to Carter. Shot to stop the run. And the rejection by Jang. Jones drives in. Crawford against Shumpert. Another miss by Minnesota.
And they have a narrow edge here in rebounding early on, and you wonder what kind of a role that's going to play moving forward.
Now, here's Kufis. And right now, he's averaging about 7 points a game.
And you don't ever want to get into the habit of letting the offense get to the rim.
He's gone 2 for 2 at the line so far.
Gentlemen, 2 shots. Roof shots.
And he makes the first. So he picks up just 1 from the line that time. Timberwolves leading by 9. Just 1 second between the shot clock and game clock. Shumpert against Crawford. Shoots from the baseline. That one drops for him.
Aggressive coming out of the gate here, guys. Wow.
Yeah, you got to love it. Everything's working. Offense, defense, already a big lead.
And so it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Their lead at 11 points to end the quarter. Their defense has been active and effective. And we've got more NBA action on 2K Sports coming your way after this break. And a guy who seems to improve every season, Jimmy Butler. He spoke with us about one of his biggest surprises.
It's crazy because I've never thought that anybody would be preparing to guard me night in and night out. But they do. I have to learn to cope with that and still find a way to be successful on both ends of the floor. And it's a learning curve for me also, but I'm figuring it out.
And hard to doubt the dedication of Jimmy Butler. He's found a way to overcome obstacles at each important point along the way.
You know, he's a self-made player, and if Butler can stay healthy, boy, the sky's the limit.
And welcome back. It's been all one-sided so far through the first quarter as our second quarter gets underway. And quite a position here for the Timberwolves to be in. What do you think, guys?
Just playing suffocating defense. That's been the difference here for them.
And really, for the whole first quarter, they've maintained their intensity. Let's see how long they can sustain it.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. On the court for Sacramento, we've got Carter. Kufis out there with Zach Randolph. Then there's Iman Shumpert. And it's Temple in at the point guard. Now here's Crawford. Bangs home the trifecta. Crawford's got the opening field goal of the second quarter for Minnesota.
Ooh, boy, shooting with a lot of confidence from deep. You have to get up on him.
Left side, Randolph. He's just scored his first basket with that shot, making him 1 for 4.
He earns his keep with his physicality and his touch with the basketball. Randolph getting it done.
Timberwolves leading by 12. And Kev, you think of the great ones. You, Kobe, I mean Jordan.
Timmy.
Yeah, how about him? They worked harder than anybody else, Kevin.
And what you learn is that the similarity or the parallel that you all have is an inner animal that you never speak about. You know, we're all a little off. We're all a little dark, but that's what pushes you through pain. That's what pushes you through tough moments. When someone says you can't, when someone says this is not possible, this is unreal, no one has ever done that, that's the moment you're looking for. The moment someone told Kobe that he couldn't get over 50, 60, something Jordan couldn't do, he was driven in that. And if Phil wouldn't have stopped him, he probably would have reached 100 points.
He probably would have, yeah.
You know, he did Will Chamberlain a favor. And that's just real. He was in that type of mode. We all share that passion. We all share that drive. And the ones that have that inner darkness, we all understand.
It's like a split personality, huh?
It's almost like another level.
Yeah. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with David Aldridge.
Well, guys, analytics has taken over the NBA, but Minnesota coach and president of basketball operations Tom Thibodeau says it doesn't tell you everything. He said analytics can measure a lot of things, but it's very difficult to measure drive. The magic is in the work. Kevin?
And Tom Thibodeau makes a good point, D.A. Analytics is certainly helpful, but it doesn't capture everything. The Kings trail by 17. Kevin, of all the people you've faced, who is the toughest guy for you to score against down low? Let's pick that geography. Who is the toughest to score against down there?
Listen, I know a lot of people. I've always said Rasheed Wallace. I've always said Tim Duncan. They're probably the two that brought a different level of play out of me. But shout out to Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson, I don't know if people know this, but Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson was one of the better defenders in the post. He was very strong. He was very long. He didn't go for any counters. He was very disciplined. He was well prepared because he was a veteran. The refs let him get away with a lot, touching and grabbing. He knew when to be physical in some positions. He knew to do what we call work early. He would meet you at the three-point line, and he would be fighting you, and you would post up probably like a step outside the three-point line. Like, he was really good at some of his techniques and how he was able to control the post. After Cliff left the game, I watched a lot of his tape, and I took a lot of his
no kidding.
I had to, because it was so effective against me that I was able to use it against other post players on the defensive end.
I never knew that story.
Dennis Rodman was another guy I watched a lot. Akeem Olajuwon I watched a lot, because these guys were laterally very similar to my makeup. Akeem Olajuwon was long. He was able to laterally move with you. I was laterally able to move with guards and able to laterally slide with some of the forwards and some of the more laterally gifted power forwards. And with that, able to get my feet together, being able to block shots, challenge the rim, stuff like that. Things that, if you're going to get better at something, you got to go and reach and find the great ones that did it before you and take it, and then I was able to apply it, and I did those things.
Taj Gibson's checked in for Patton. And it's the Kings with the ball. Here's Fox. Sacramento again missing. And KG, talk about how the greats can just impose their will.
It's almost like another level. Yeah. When you see LeBron, what he did to Detroit in that fourth quarter, that's a blackout. You don't know what you're doing. When you see Kobe go for 81, when you see Chauncey come down on a one, these players are blacking out. These are elite players in elite moments, taking the moment. Paul Pierce is one of the best that I've ever seen grab a moment and savor it and just put it in slow-mo. And nothing's speeding them up.
Special players.
Special players, but I get a front row seat of seeing that. Ray Allen, the same thing. Had a great composure about himself to slow himself down and hit pressure shots. Tim Duncan, same thing.
No good on that one. Well, the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is it such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. You know, just say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Relying on somebody else, okay? So let's just say you and someone are doing something, walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed in which you want to walk at might be different from the other person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of, we're going to walk up here together like at this speed, like this, or we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic, because you have to understand that you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, if you got to pull them, if you got to keep up, whatever it is. All this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right. Just under 3.5 minutes played here in the second quarter.
Look, it would be a huge boost for them if he could start knocking these down.
Kevin, we've all seen the evolution of the perimeter-style offense. Do you think it'll ever go so far that we'll see the game come back to an inside-oriented offensive scheme?
I think right now that with pace being the way it is now, Kev, I don't see it necessarily going through or going back to playing through the post. Although you have to have an alternative. I think that you just can't be all three-pointers and layups. I think you have to have a constant flow of inside-outside. I think it helps to have a post player. I think having a post player or a true post player that can score and dominate the middle opens up threes and opens up ball movement.
You played during the transition, too, didn't you? From a grinded-out type of game inside to the spacing that we have now.
I did, and I'd like to say that, you know, Doc Rivers started the small ball, and, you know, we were very, very keen on the small ball. So I think in today's game, you got to be able to shoot the three now and be able to handle the ball and put the ball on the floor and make decisions. So it shows that the game is transforming.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well.
Towns down low. Cauley-Stein defending. Sacramento's gone 0-2 from deep here in the second. Kevin, with intentional fouling, with poor free throw shooters being sent to the line currently, the Hack-a-Drummond, Hack-a-Shaq, I mean, all this stuff, DeAndre Jordan. Yeah. What are your thoughts on all that?
You know what? I like it. You know what it's going to do? It's
part of the strategy?
It's going to put the strategy, and this is part of it. And you know what you got to do? It's going to make all those guys you just named work on their free throw. Because if any advantage that you have in the game, coaches are going to expose it. Coaches are going to expose all weak points, as they should, as any sport, and as any great is going to expose any weaknesses in defenses. He's going to look to expose those things. So this is one of the things that dictates the game, and these guys are going to have to be better. It's going to push them. It's going to make them better players.
Sacramento moving it around. Wiggins passes to Butler. Back to Wiggins. And the rejection by Cauley-Stein.
And shooters beware. Cauley-Stein is very crafty in how he rises up for the block. So good at catching scores off guard with his wide reach.
Now a timeout called by Sacramento. This their first chance to take a look at the Timberwolves this season.
And they won the season series against this club last year, but, you know, then again, so did a lot of other teams.
And a look here at the shot chart for Fox.
Well, they haven't really been strong enough inside. I mean, they haven't been a force or aggressive with getting those good quality looks in the paint. And I think the one-dimensionality of their offense is going to continue to be an issue because the defense isn't having to worry about clogging the lane or defending down low.
Kevin, growing up watching the game of basketball, who were some of your earliest influences?
My early influences in the game of basketball was Magic Johnson, obviously Michael Jordan, and then Chris Webber. Chris Webber, Malik Sealy was kind of like the younger generation of my inspiration. Yeah. St. John's was one of the destinations. Michigan was one of my college destinations. So those guys were my natural inspirations early on when I was young.
Yeah. Here's Towns following the basket by Buddy Hield. Teague drives in, and Labissiere sends it back.
Just phenomenal timing on the block. Labissiere leaping up for the forceful rejection.
Kicks it to Jackson. And Fox has it in the corner. Coley Stein a screen. High arcing shot, and that's out of bounds. Sacramento will retain possession. Shot clock at 5. Fox. And they force the shot clock violation. Great D. And with a quick break in the action, let's now take a look at the top rookie free throw shooters in the NBA. Now the Timberwolves with it. They're on a 16-6 run. Kevin, one of the biggest moments of your career, the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics. Talk about the camaraderie among that group of players.
You know, Kev, I can tell right away that we had something special getting together right in September, right before the year started. We started working out together. We started sharing concepts and how we saw the game. Right away, I can tell that the appetite was there. 1 through 15 guys. It's very rare that you're able to get that many guys in that early. As soon as Danny, signed guys, we were in, we were lifting, we was just, around each other, understanding each other, playing a lot. We was playing a lot. Then, fortunately, we was able to go off to Rome that year. Rome was a good distraction for us because we had to lean on one another.
To bond a little bit.
Seriously, because, none of us spoke Italian. If we wanted to go somewhere, we was always 3-4 deep, and no one was asking and no one was telling us to be with each other. We were just naturally being with each other so much that whenever you saw us to the restaurants, 9, 10 of us, that carried over to practice. Then we got 2 teams that are very competitive. Doc's letting us be who we want to be, and he's letting us play with passion, and our practices are over the top aggressive and to the point where it's too competitive to where he has to come in and separates us and, take the balls and cut the lights out and get us out of here. To the point where he just lets us go. Now we start bringing concepts to him. He started trusting our IQs. Now we start putting a couple of things on defense. Thibodeau's in there. He's implementing stuff. When this flow is going like this, you don't know that you're going to win it all, but you know you're on the waves of something special. Right. And that's how that felt.
So it's Sacramento now. And there's the feed to Labissiere. The dish now to Fox. 4 on the shot clock. Puts up a 3.
Ooh, ugly second quarter for him. And now I think he's starting to really force the issue.
It's a +5 advantage for them in rebounding after that one.
Now here's Wiggins. They lead by 24, their biggest margin.
That's how you protect the rim. Stand your ground and make him alter his release.
Kevin, coming out of high school, you were relatively mature for your age, as 17 turning 18, but do you ever regret not trying college and just seeing what that experience would have been like? I mean, it's such a long time ago, but you've had some chance probably to get some perspective on both sides of that story.
You know what, Kev, I look at it like the unknown is the unknown. Obviously, I've had friends that went to college. Some of my best friends went to college, and I think I've kind of lived it through them a little bit. Listen, when you have responsibility early in life.
Which you did.
Which I did.
Yes.
And, so from a mature level, things that interest me are not that interesting as you get older, especially when you have to deal with a vigorous schedule of an NBA schedule. I wasn't able to, be the 17, 18-year-old to chill, have, lean on the parents a little bit, be able to be at home, coming home through the weekends. I had a real life that I was responsible for, and I was growing something. I was building something. I was trying to not just be a young player in our league, but a young businessman wanting to establish something for myself, my friends, my family, You can't do those things thinking like a normal 17, 18-year-old. You're taking pieces from grown men around you all the time. You're around people who need something all the time. At some point, you have to put all this together. You have to make it work for you. And you have to put your spin on it for how it works for you and your brand. And you have to be innovative with that. You have to be creative with that. You have to have a vision.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. Here's Cauley Stein. Jimmy Butler making his last shot. Here's Fox. Not enough on that one as it misses.
And out of rhythm offensively, but he continues to work at it.
I mean, truth is, if you play long enough, sometimes you're going to have a bad quarter, even a bad game. I doubt that this shakes his confidence.
Continuing to push the action and build this lead.
And you see he's not worried about what's on the scoreboard. He just wants to go ham each possession.
Now here's Cauley Stein. 11 points for him in that last game against Phoenix.
Oh, well, his rebounding stood out, too. He gave them a big lift on the boards.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
So the Timberwolves called their first timeout. Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. Now we get a chance to check out the standings out west. Already we're in December. You look at Minnesota. They're sitting pretty, second place, and looking to take the top spot. And checking out Sacramento, 7.5 games behind.
Yeah, you know, for the Kings, there were fears they'd be one of the NBA's doormats this season. Those fears have turned out to be well-founded.
Well, it's not really shocking, is it? Considering the makeup of their roster. They need a ton of help in many areas if they want to get better.
Chalk up 2 there.
Terrific pass work. That shot's a lot easier after an assist like that.
Outside, Jones. Here's the screen. Now the pass to Bielitsa. Here's Patton. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Patton's got 5 points now this quarter.
And some guys just have a nose for scoring, and this one couldn't have been any easier.
I mean, I don't know whether to say it's amazing or it's sad, but you're down double digits and you still allow an uncontested layup. Where is the pride? Where is your heart?
KG, I know you can't stay any longer. You've got to move on, but we appreciate your time, and it's always great to see you.
Kev, anytime, man. It's great to see you, man. Anytime you need me, you let me know, man. I'm yours.
Former MVP, Defensive Player of the Year and champion, Kevin Garnett. I'll tell you, Greg, you know, there may not have been a more passionate player in this league than Kevin Garnett. What a treat to have him join us, huh?
Yeah, the energy he would bring night in and night out is similar to what he brought here tonight. You can hear it in his voice. Just he still has that excitement and passion for the game.
And the foul called on Tyus Jones. That is his first foul of the game. .35 seconds left in the first half of the game. And Temple kicks to Carter. Shot clock at 6. Puts it up from 12. Rebounded by the Timberwolves. Zhang's got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Patton the pass to Bielitsa. Outside, Jones. On the wing, Jamal Crawford. Over Shumpert, and the Timberwolves tack on 2 more.
It's just not quite tight enough on him to impact the shot. He got a good look on that.
And so it's Minnesota finishing the quarter up by a whopping 24 points. They've been playing some inspired defense, giving up very few easy points. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. Here with Karl Anthony Towns. An impressive first half and a nice start for you guys. How did that happen?
I mean, yeah, we had some great days of practice. You know, this is what happens when you got some days off.
Got the spring in your step again. Thanks, Karl Anthony. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the second half momentarily.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. This big mountain of a man is Shaquille O'Neal, and this hill of a man is Kenny the Jet Smith. It's Minnesota out in front at the half. They are completely in control of the game, leading by a massive amount. Kenny, what's your take?
Well, they just about ran their offense to perfection. They pounded the ball inside, and the entry feeds were on time and on the money. It was a clinic to watch. The second half is going to be no contest if they keep getting shots 8 feet and in.
Shaq, how do you think Sacramento played?
They were brick city, and it was painful to watch. Weak shooting starts to get contagious, and they were struggling all over the place. They got to work on getting more high-quality chances, more layups, fewer prayers.
That's it for halftime, as the second half is just about to get underway.
Well, we're getting back to the action now. It's been a one-team show so far. We'll see if that changes here in the third. You look at Andrew Wiggins in this game, he's been everywhere.
Yeah, he's really been catching the defense off guard so far here in this game, racking up a bunch of trips to the line.
Well, and a few times he's done a good job of initiating contact, yet getting the foul called on the defender.
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started. And Chris, as your career progressed, your free throw shooting percentage jumped up about 20 points higher than when you started. That's not the case for a lot of players. Just how hard is it for a big man to improve their free throw shooting throughout their career?
Okay, that's probably one of the things I'm proudest of, is that I have the record from going from worst to that best improvement, and I worked out hard. I had a shooting coach, Buzz. We worked out every summer. I would take him everywhere with me, Kev. I mean,
really?
I would take this guy to the club, to church, to a restaurant, to he'd have to wait outside the bathroom. Everywhere I went that summer, I wanted him, with me, because you have to focus and concentrate on it. You think about it, you have to change not only your mental habits, your repetition, but your thought process. So step one is the figuring out that shot. Step two is how many repetitions. Step three is, can you get that in game time atmosphere? And you really can't unless you punish yourself in the summer with running. So if you have to do a suicide every one you miss, or it just was so much work and intensity on it, because you have to build up so much trust. Because the reason why guys shoot bad free throws, they don't trust it. They shoot a different way every time. And it was fun becoming better at that, but, that's probably one of the toughest things I've ever done, was get better at shooting free throws, because the concentration and the time allowed it to try to improve.
Teague runs the point with Butler at his side. They're the backcourt. Gibson is the 4 with Towns in the middle. And it's Wiggins in at the 3 spot. So that's who Tom Thibodeau starts the second half with. From the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, Karl Anthony Towns was voted by GMs last season as the player they most want to build a franchise around. But he is not resting on his laurels. He said, "I work hard on my game. I want to be the strongest player, the most intelligent player, and the most skilled player on the court at all times." Kevin?
Thanks, David. That work ethic will definitely help Towns get better. He's already a dynamite player. Here's Wiggins. The Kings getting the bucket. Butler dishes to Gibson. They set the pick. Cauley-Stein grabs the board. Cauley-Stein's got rebound number 10 tonight with that last one. Towns, no luck. Towns has gone 2 for 7 from the field. And Jackson with the basket on the assist by Fox. Jackson's got 5 points so far.
And they're passing the ball very crisply here.
Towns, the screen. T kicks to Butler. And Fox with a clear path to the basket. And it's Fox with the jam.
Yeah, Fox is a dependable defender, always active, and he's really smart in terms of his anticipation and using those hands to come up with steals.
Now here's Teague. He's got 7. Really left alone that time. 11 points for Butler.
Very well executed pick to give him all kinds of space to get that one off.
Fox passes to Hield. Cauley-Stein with this screen on Butler. Here's Hield. Some solid defense from Butler. Timberwolves leading by 23. Teague dishes to Wiggins. And it's Sacramento with the rebound.
That's 1 for their first 4 to start the second half.
Jackson has the open look. The offensive rebound. Labissiere. And Gibson sends it back.
And Gibson just out here to play hard defense, showing great awareness coming up there with that block.
T kicks to Towns. Stolen by Jackson. And here comes Jackson leading the fast break. It's a hand on it. It's good. And 12 points for Willie Cauley-Stein.
He's one of the guys having a solid game for them, but as a whole, they've been lacking.
Gibson the screen. Wiggins passes to Butler. Clock at 6. The shot off that time, and Sacramento will go the other way with it.
Ooh, and this is turning into a slow start here in the second half. Seems like they left that offense in the locker room. And there's one thing that's never been in question about Wiggins, his ability to be a high-volume scorer. And in case you needed a reminder, he's giving you one tonight.
Timeout called by the Kings. Rumors about Butler being traded from Chicago were circulating last season. Draft day comes around, and the Minnesota Timberwolves made their move, Greg, to acquire him.
Yeah, and the more you look at it, the trade looks great for Butler and the Wolves. Reunites him with Coach Thibodeau, joins an incredibly young core in Towns and Wiggins, and the sky's the limit, I think, for this young Wolves team.
Now here's Hield. 8 points for him. They set the pick. Cauley-Stein kicks to Fox. The second chance effort rejected by T.
And who would have thought it would be T to send that shot away? Great block.
And Labissiere sends it back. Jackson dishes to Fox. He feeds it to Hield. Knocks down the 3 ball. Hield's got 11 points.
Yeah, clearly a defensive lapse there. He is automatic from deep if you're going to leave him that wide open. Big time mistake.
Gibson passes to Butler. Here's Towns. Takes it into the teeth of the D and converts the way up. 6 points for him.
And from day one, Towns has been one of the NBA's top post players. A versatile, well-rounded game on the low block. It doesn't hurt that he can step outside and knock down the jumper either.
Now, here's Fox. They look to him for part of their offensive attack. Right now, he averages nearly 12 points a game. And the basket by Jackson.
Yeah, instinctively, too. Fox there looking to be a ball mover, a facilitator. And that's one reason why his team is playing well.
Teague against Fox. Teague kicks to Butler. They set the pick. He dishes it to Wiggins. To the middle, Teague sets a screen for Wiggins. The timely screen gave him a step, and he took it all the way.
Great job of screening there. Nice job to take it to the rim and get the finish.
Hield with it. Butler covering. Now here's Hield. 11 points in the game. Cauley-Stein dishes to Hield. Again, Hield missing.
Well, he's having a tough go at it so far this quarter. Not much dropping for him.
Teague against Fox. Teague the pass to Gibson. Fox against Teague. Here's Towns. Rebound by the Kings. Hield's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Dishes to Cauley-Stein. And Cauley-Stein throws it down.
Wow, at 7 feet tall, Cauley-Stein is a major threat to throw it down. If he gets the ball close to the rim, the D is pretty much toast.
Now here's Towns. He has 6. Here's Teague. Good, and the assist goes to Towns. And it's 9 points for Jeff Teague.
They're getting on a roll inside. Their last 3 field goals have come from the paint.
Fox kicks to Jackson. Passes it to Hield. Puts up a 3. Again, Hield missing.
And the stroke definitely lacking confidence this quarter. Nothing on target.
Shots good by Butler.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Here's Labissiere. Jimmy Butler making his last shot. And Cauley-Stein throws it down.
Oh, and for a big man, Labissiere is just a sensational passer, just has a knack for finding his guys in their spots.
Minnesota calls timeout. Well, Willie Cauley-Stein out of Kentucky, a player who many thought would eventually become a big-time center in the league, was taken 6th overall in 2015. That surprised some people, but he has had a hard time finding his place in this NBA.
Well, for Cauley-Stein, some of it has been opportunity, but also just consistency. You know, he's shown some flashes of greatness for moments, but he rarely puts together a stretch of those big games.
And it's a completely new group on the floor for the Kings. Carter outside. Outside Randolph. Randolph, a screen on Jones. Here's Temple. And count it. He'll head to the line with a chance to make it 3.
Oh, perfect timing there to knock down the teardrop.
And this is his first trip to the line tonight.
Had a success rate from the line last year of about 78%.
Chris, I know that when you go through a season, there are certain matchups that you love and certain ones that you don't. When you were playing, which other power forwards did you just dread, just did not like going up against?
Well, Kevin, I would kind of change that and say dread to me was love, meaning that I dreaded and I loved to go up against Tim Duncan because you knew you had to be prepared that night. I loved and I dreaded going up against KG. You know, I played in the era where in 1 week I could have played against Shaq, Rasheed Wallace, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, Hakeem Olajuwon. This is all on the West Coast, so for me, you know, I dreaded the Western Conference, but what's so good about it is that you just have to be prepared, and you can't dread the NBA. It's like you grew up wanting to play against the best players in life, and so I really love the fact that I had to be my best every night, or you're going to get embarrassed in the league. So it was every power forward.
Never an off night, was there, Chris?
Never an off night, and you know, so I can't say I dreaded Karl Malone over Barkley or Olajuwon over David Robinson or Tim Duncan over KG. It's just like, hey man, you got to put your big boy pants on, get ready, and go to work, baby. Put your hard hat on.
Shooting 2.
And that one misses. And Greg, you wouldn't expect it from a Coach Thibodeau team, but defense was an issue for the Timberwolves last year.
And the Wolves brought in Butler to help with offense, but more importantly, his defense. And Butler, familiar with what Thibs likes to do on both ends of the floor, has the leadership the team needs, particularly on the defensive end.
Second free throw, no good. The Kings trail by 21. Pass to Shumpert. Then he goes right over Tyus Jones and slams it down.
Shumpert is a tremendous athlete. You see how effortless that was, getting up and making a poster?
That was a great angle we just saw, courtesy of Under Armour. Another unleash chaos moment. Sacramento's gone 2 of 5 with the three-point shot since coming out of the break. Here's Temple, defended by Jones. The shot by Carter, nobody around. Buries the long-range jumper. Carter's got 7.
Nice. Look how alert Shumpert is. He knows whenever one of his teammates is open to get him to rock.
Crawford up top, defended by Carter. Another miss by Minnesota.
He's trying to help him add to this lead, but he just can't find his touch.
On the wing, Shumpert, guarded by Crawford. Carter down low, working on Jones. It's good on the putback.
And those second chance points really become almost like bonus points when you can get them.
Minnesota leading by 14. Pass to Patton. Lets the three fly. Sacramento grabs the miss. Koufos has got 7 rebounds in the game. And Temple kicks to Randolph. With the shot, and there are the Kings with another bucket.
They should continue to get the ball inside. The defense struggling to contain them.
Here's Bielitsa, defended by Carter. Patton the pass to Crawford. No good. They had a chance to end the run there.
Well, he had 1 3-pointer in the first half, but so far in the second, he's come up with goose eggs.
The Kings trail by 12. And Temple kicks to Koufos. Carter outside. Back to Koufos. Feeds to Randolph. Basket good. Randolph's got 4 this quarter.
And not being as aggressive from the three-point line anymore. They had a lot more attempts in that first half.
Jones kicks to Crawford. Over Shumpert. Connects on the 17-footer. 9 points for Crawford. 1:12 left to play here in the third. Sacramento's gone 6 of 14 with the 3 ball tonight. Just a little over 40%. And Temple kicks to Carter. There's a good screen. Unloads from 13. And he gets that one to go off the front iron. Carter's got 9 points.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Now here's Jones. Defense is right there. He kicks it to Jang. Crawford outside. Fires from 18. Crawford missing again.
Defensively, they could have done better. That's an open look he'd like to have back.
7-second difference, shot and game clock. Here's Temple. A look at his stats. He averages a bit over 8 points a game.
Don't have to be in a hurry. They can hold for the last one.
No question. It's not easy to be patient, but you really don't want to give up an extra possession.
And unfortunately, we've seen a few too many of those. A lack of concentration, a turnover, and an easy bucket in transition.
Randolph can't hit.
Wasted opportunity. That's a good chance right there for an easy 2 on the open jump.
And so it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Up by a dozen here at the end of the quarter. They've been putting on a clinic in the paint. Shots are falling with regularity, and they are pounding it down low. And we'll be back with you shortly. And now we take a listen into the recent huddle from Tom Thibodeau.
Keep digging, man. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting every loose ball. Make it hard on them. Make them hard.
And there's Tom Thibodeau focusing on the toughness and effort he'd like to see from his team.
Yeah, he wants them to just leave no stone unturned, take advantage of every opportunity, and that's going to be the roadmap to success.
And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the fourth. And a look at the 5 for the Kings to start the fourth. Amon Shumpert is out there with Garrett Temple. Then there's Carter. Then it's Zach Randolph. And it's Koufos in at the 5 down low.
It's been a rough game for him, but it won't sting too bad as long as they hang on to the lead.
Timberwolves leading by 9. And here's Jones. Crawford outside. And count it. He'll head to the line with a chance to make it 3.
What a play there. The hoop plus the harm.
Chris, there have been some great 6th men on the teams that you played with, but right now, who do you feel are some of the best of the bunch coming off the bench and in the NBA right now?
Well, 2 of my rookies, 2 guys I got to play with, Andre Iguodala, I think he's always going to be kind of that perennial top for 6th man of the year. He and another guy that was a rookie with him, and that's Lou Williams. He can just get buckets at any time that he needs to. And you look at a guy like a Patty Mills coming off the bench for the Spurs, and you don't have to necessarily do it with volume or with quantity, but it's also your quality of minutes. And I think that Patty Mills is someone that can definitely light it up in a flash. And these three guys, anytime you have them coming off the bench for you, you're going to have some firepower.
Count that one, and the Timberwolves lead has been cut down to 8 on the bucket from Iman Shumpert. Crawford against Shumpert. Crawford kicks to Wiggins. There's the dish to Jang. And it's Randolph with the rebound. Randolph's got his 5th rebound in this one. To the wing on the left. Temple dishes to Carter. 17-foot shot on the way.
He gets the shot he was looking for and just can't bury it.
It's tipped. Crawford outside. The Timberwolves again can't hit.
Nobody even close to him, and he can't believe he doesn't knock it down.
Second shot opportunity, and he makes the bucket, drew contact, and gets the whistle too.
They're trailing, but they are really battling, working the ball down low, getting good looks in the paint. The inside game much improved from where it was in the first half.
Looking at who's out there now for the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns checked in for Gorgie Dang. Gibson comes in for Bielit. Butler, he's checked in for Jamal Crawford. And it's Teague in for Jones. Here's Fox. Begins with the block. It's stolen by Labissiere. Shot by Hield, nobody around. That one off the back iron and out.
It's almost like he's trying to make things hard on himself. You know, he's just got to slow the game down, try to get some easy ones.
The Kings trail by 6. Jackson passes to Koufos. Labissiere up top. Three-pointer, Hield. Again, the miss by the Kings. Minnesota's gone outside a lot tonight. 17 times, in fact. 7 of 17. T kicks to Towns. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. And the Timberwolves lead by 8.
There's no lack of aggression on his part. When he's got the chance to score, he'll take it.
Some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, right now you just need a bucket to get some momentum.
Koufos dishes to Fox. And he makes that one.
And sometimes Fox just can't be contained. I mean, he plays with so much heart and passion and terrific at scoring even when he gets bodied up.
Greg, you ask a lot of GMs. De'Aaron Fox, probably the fastest player in this year's rookie class.
And he plays at 1 speed. That's lightning. I mean, he's got speed to burn. And maybe not quite as fast as, say, John Wall, but he isn't far behind. He uses that quickness well also in terms of just busting seams on the offense. And at the other end, he can be an outstanding defender as he was at Kentucky. And how about the way Fox continues to improve his game? A capable scorer who also rebounds the ball well for his size. And still, though, he can improve on that perimeter jump shot.
Well, if you're just tuning in, welcome. We've got about 3.5 minutes gone here in the 4th quarter. On the wing, Jackson. Sacramento moving it around. Labissiere, the screen. 5 on the clock. Here's Hield. And he's back in business as a jumper finally drops for him.
A nice run they put together here to bring it a little closer.
Well, they're not going anywhere. This is still very much of a ball game because of runs like that.
Now, here's Fox. Coley Stein, a screen. Here's the floater. Count that one, and the Minnesota lead has been cut down to 2 on the bucket from Fox.
They needed a run desperately, and boy, did they come up big.
That's just great all-around teamwork. Now, let's see if they can find a way to come away with the victory here.
And still varying opinions out there of what Andrew Wiggins can and can't do. But one thing that's indisputable, he's an incredible scorer. Whether half-court transition, he can flat out fill it up in a hurry.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
Free throw good, Wiggins. And Wiggins, his young career just getting better and better at scoring, Greg, while increasing his workload.
Yeah, and very few scorers can do that, especially from that two-guard spot. Wiggins has that special talent where he can flat out carry an offense. Scary to think that this is a kid who is just scratching the surface.
Hield with the bucket.
And the mid-range game of Hield is excellent. Always got to play up on him when he has the ball.
Teague against Fox, and Teague, here we go, and it's in there. And the Timberwolves lead by 5.
Well, he's reason number 1 there in front. I mean, his shooting has been almost flawless.
Fox with it. Labissiere, the screen. Now Hield. They set the pick. Again, Hield missing. Timberwolves leading by 5. Here's Wiggins, and that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. Teague's got his 8th assist in the game.
And Teague knew that he would be open there. Great patience and vision from the point man.
Jackson kicks to Labissiere. Teague against Fox. And the rejection by Towns. Here's Labissiere over Gibson, and he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. Taj Gibson picks one up.
Oh, just a superb pump fake. Labissiere nearly drawing the defender out of his shoes there.
And that one falls for Labissiere.
And Labissiere screams potential, a gigantic player who plays both ends of the floor well.
Both shots good from the stripe. Minnesota leading by 5. To the inside. Butler passes to Gibson. Over Labissiere. No good from Gibson. Sacramento's gotten off 4 3-pointers in the final quarter, and 2 of them have fallen. Jackson kicks to Labissiere. Goes back up. Tries yet again. And finally they hit one.
Oh, and just look at Labissiere, just staying after it and creating additional opportunities for his team.
Now here's Towns, and stolen by Cauley Stein. Fox against Teague. Here's Fox. Kicks it to Hield. Over Butler. That one rolling around and rims out.
He gets the shot he was looking for, and he just can't bury it.
Over Hield. Another miss by Minnesota. The Kings trail by 3. Inside, Cauley Stein. He watches it go through the hoop for his 8th make. Now 8 for 14.
And it's important for Cauley Stein's confidence that he gets these interior shots to fall. The more he sees the ball go in, the more assured he will feel down inside.
Now here's Butler. Towns at the elbow. Cauley Stein grabs the board. They could retake the lead after trailing for a while.
Nice work to hang around and just give yourself a chance. Put yourself in position.
And even after 2 offensive rebounds, they just can't get the lid off. Left side, Butler. Yep, that one goes. Butler's got 9 points here in the second half.
Yeah, and you just can't let Butler get that deep. Once he's got that kind of positioning, it's over.
Fox kicks to Labissiere. Fox dishes to Labissiere. There's a good screen. Cauley Stein a screen. Cauley Stein with the screen for Hield. Again, Hield missing.
Hard to tell if he's just lacking energy in the second half, but it does not look like he's himself out there.
Wiggins passes to Butler. Stolen by Jackson. And up the court come the Kings on the break. Here's Fox. The putback. Here's Cauley Stein. Tough break there, shot after shot. They couldn't get anything to fall.
His head doesn't look in the game right now. He can't seem to connect on any shot he takes out there.
It's stolen by Labissiere. Here's Hield. The putback. He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points.
Oh, man, the relentless pursuit of the basketball by Cauley Stein. Just a tremendous hustler on the offensive glass.
Wiggins, and once again off the mark by Minnesota.
I wonder what the score would be if they weren't controlling the backboard.
Fox kicks to Labissiere. Outside Jackson. Sacramento moving it around to take the lead. The rebound by Gibson. Gibson's got rebound number 8 now on the night. Butler dishes to Towns, and the dunk by Towns. That gives him a double-double in this one. 10 points and 19 rebounds.
And you can see that Butler is the total package. Solid at recognizing when one of his guys is open.
The feed to Fox. Rebound Minnesota. Towns has got rebound number 19 now. Incredible board work. Teague the pass to Towns. That's good, and so Teague with the assist. Now it's a 5-point Timberwolves lead.
He's feeling it this half. Total turnaround after a rough first half.
Cauley Stein kicks to Fox. And he knocks down the first one. Fox hits them both. And here is Teague. Outside Butler. And there's the pass to Wiggins. And stolen by Cauley Stein. Jumps up, and Jackson throws it down hard.
And Kevin, maybe the play of the game right there.
A tremendous instincts grade to come up with a steal and then attack the basket.
And guys, to do it in the biggest moments. We'll see if that shifts the tide permanently in their favor.
And Gibson kicks to Towns. And the dunk by Towns.
An aggressive move and fantastic finish.
Trying to send a message with that slam, I think. The Kings trail by 3. Fox with it. Cauley Stein, a screen. Three-pointer, Hield. They get it back. The shot that time, not on target. Minnesota's gone outside a lot tonight. 17 times, in fact. 7 of 17. Sacramento's gone a disappointing 2 of 6 on three-point attempts here in the fourth. He feeds it to Jackson. Inside, shoots from 12, and it comes off the front of the rim.
He just can't get right. Nothing is going in right now, but I like how he's keeping his confidence up. He knows it's only a matter of time until he gets one to go in.
And for Sacramento, they're shooting in the fourth quarter down around 31%, not playing with as much energy here lately. Timberwolves leading by 3. Wiggins, a screen on Fox. That's a 2 from Hield. Not enough on that one as it misses.
Yeah, that's just poor decision making. He's got to be better in those situations.
I'd love to hear his explanation. The coach right there. I mean, that should be an interesting conversation.
Now here's Teague. 6 on the shot clock. Kicks it out to Gibson. Fires from 18. And it's Wiggins missing. Now a timeout called by Sacramento. They're trailing by 3. There's 21 seconds left in the fourth. What's your take, guys?
You know, you'd love to be able to clear space and get that triple, but you can also do the 2 with a quick foul.
Well, these are some of the toughest decisions. I mean, a good argument can be made for either case.
And now the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Karl Anthony Towns.
And he's put on a terrific show of skill in the paint. A combination of moves, footwork, and that soft touch down low. It's all added up to one dominant performance for the big fella.
And the Kings making a change here. Randolph is checked in. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with David Aldridge.
Thanks, guys. Well, I got a chance to listen to Dave Yeager's huddle with his team. He said we've got to pick it up right here, right now. If we're going to win this game, we have to take control. This is the time. Kevin.
That's right. No other option but to foul and hope for some misses.
So it's the Timberwolves now. 3-point lead. And so they foul intentionally.
Two shots.
Gets the first, and that gives them a 4-point cushion.
And Butler is a true leader, a guy his teammates look up to, and one of the best in our game.
And so both free throws are good, and it's a 5-point game.
Making this a 2-possession game. That's the benefit of knocking down the easy ones.
Timeout called by the Kings. They're trailing by 5. 16 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Guys, what do you think?
And they're going to have to score. Quick foul. Can't waste any time here.
Well, it's a lot to talk about in this huddle. They'll also have to decide who they'll want to foul.
And so they foul intentionally.
No choice but to foul there, but he's probably the last guy you want to see on the line.
First free throw is good, and that increases their lead to 6. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 7-point game. Dishes it to Jackson. Here's Fox. Misses. And so Minnesota takes the win. It was up for grabs right until the final seconds.
Yeah, and for me, Kevin, what stood out is just the overall trust this group has in one another when it matters most. Doing what had to be done and to send these fans home happy.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. Now, Jimmy, you have not been shy about setting the bar high for this team defensively. Now, how do you think you did at that end tonight?
We did our thing tonight. We came out, put bodies on guys. Basketball is a game of runs, and they got some great scores, but in the end, we did what we were supposed to do.
You got the last one, and that's what matters. Thanks, Jimmy. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. Great interview once again. Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening.